My name's Kevin Mather. My wife and I wanted to get a dog. We've been talking about getting a dog for years, and we travel so much with archery that it just was never a good time. And then for 2025, I'm kind of taking an off year, so we figured, hey, it's a good time to get that dog. We can get him trained, and get him, where he's not going to tear apart the place if we have to leave him somewhere. Yeah, so Gus is a field-bred golden retriever. When we first got Gus, it was some of the biggest challenges were basically if you put him outside, he always wanted to be with people. So it wasn't, I don't know if it was complete separation anxiety or what it was, but he was just like, hey, you're inside, I want to be inside. So he would, jumping at the door and pawing at it and all that stuff. I've never trained a dog in a chair. I've had a bunch of Goldens and stuff earlier in life, but this is my first time working with a dog from a chair. So, there's challenges where it's like, if you're working on a recall, if we're out in the grass or something like that, I can't just go grab him, right? So I've got to be like, okay, he's got to be on a long line. It's got to be right, I've got to prepare myself a bit, more for training sessions, or just think about, okay, what's gonna, where are we at? What's gonna be an obstacle here for me? For instance, when I started walking him, the first time I took him for a walk, just in my normal wheelchair, I was like, well, this isn't gonna work. Not great at least, because as I'm trying to push the wheelchair, I'm choking the dog, right? So I'm like, well, that's not, he's thinking he's messing up, then I'm correcting him, but he's just walking next to me, and it's, my issue. So I discovered word of mouth by my wife and I were going to Hawaii in November. And so we had this 4 months old puppy, and we were like, where are we gonna board this guy? We were going for a week, and we didn't want to just offload this puppy on a friend or family, oh, here, watch our dog for a week. By the way, he's still kind of a jerk because he's a puppy. So we were looking around the Denver area and, what places might be good. Word of mouth is fairly close to our place. Just by looking at the location and the sort of style of, boarding facility it was very attractive to us from that standpoint. And then as we looked into other boarding facilities, it just sort of re-emphasized how much we would rather have our dog here. I believe we did 18 days of training because Gus was so young, Jose wanted him a few more days, just because, getting him out of puppy mode, as Jose says, the first couple days, getting the dog used to being, in this environment, and then getting used to the training sessions daily and all that. It was great, Jose, if we wanted updates, we would get updates, how's things going. You do the board and train, and then you're welcome to do classes and encouraged to do classes. And so I've been doing classes once a week, and then my wife also does classes once a week on a different day with Gus, so that we both work with him separately. The training here has helped significantly. Immediately, when we got Gus back from the board and train, he was just a good amount calmer. He was still at that point, he was maybe 5 months old when we got him back, and noticeably calmer and just more attentive to us rather than being distracted by everything in the world that puppies want to get into. He was like, you gave him a Gus, he was like, huh? Oh, I'm not supposed to be doing that? Okay, I'll stop doing that. That was noticeably different, not freaking out when we let him outside, not just jumping up on the windows and all of those things. So a lot more pleasant dog to have around. Being a wheelchair user and showing up to a random place, right, this is not a commercial building. It's not a Costco parking lot or, building, right? So I didn't have any problems with that. Showing up, Jose is super helpful, helped me get in his house, or helping me get, on the basketball courts where they do the training, he makes sure I have a spot that's closest to the court where I can park there, and helps me get up to the court. I wasn't looking to have a service dog specifically with Gus. I just wanted a really good dog though. I wanted a well-trained dog. Told Jose, my goals for Gus in the future are to be able to be completely off leash, and I can be confident that wherever I go with him, he's gonna be well behaved. Some of those standards are gonna be at the level of a service dog, but he's not picking stuff up for me. He's not pulling me up hills. He's not, doing work like that as a service dog. Jose was like, He's like, all right, we're gonna make him the perfect dog for you. So that's what we've been working on, and we just keep making progress. And it's, you know, I could be out in my garage working on stuff and like have the garage door open, and I'm not freaked out that Gus is gonna go, you know, see a goose and go chase him down the street, because he's so well behaved and he's so in tune with me that he's just like, he's happy to hang out and be with me. I would highly recommend this place. You know, if you have a dog that needs any training at all, whether they're a puppy and need to be trained, or whether they're somewhere in the middle and they're just kind of trained and you want them actually trained, yeah, this is an amazing place to do that.
I knew that Gus was gonna take extra special attention. For one, he was a puppy. For two, his dad's in a wheelchair. Which means that we have to make sure that Gus's heel is perfect, his recall is perfect, his stay is perfect. I'm not saying we don't do that for everyone, but it is very important that Gus is very calm. If there was one thing we put in Gus is to calm him down. I have to be honest, I truly believe the Lord helped me with this one. I mean, it was like halfway through the training, we were just working with him, and somehow, some way, Gus just started changing into this amazing, wonderful dog. You know, obviously we worked with him and obviously we're with him every day, but it was like something just clicked in him one day. And since that day, he's just been amazing. But I do truly believe the Lord helped me with that one. I just knew I wanted to do this the best it could be. I want to be able to help people in wheelchairs, whatever their disability is. I want to be able to make sure that if they get a dog, we can actually commit to what we said we'd commit to. We involved the person in the training process by accommodating to them. I know in the interview you talked with Kevin about how he got here and all that stuff. I would love to tell you that my courts are totally wheelchair accessible. It is pretty easy to get to them, but there is dirt and all that stuff. And one thing I did know is anytime Kevin shows up, I made sure I helped him unload. I went and grabbed Gus for him to make it as easy as possible. I left him with my other handlers. And I also made sure he could get up the hill. And once he was on the court, he was fine. And then also we accommodated to him a couple different times. We have gates coming in the door. Obviously we took our gates down. We tried to make it easy. Anytime I knew he was coming, I made sure everything was shoveled and clean for him to make it as easy as possible for him to access our property. One thing I really cannot stress enough to the owners of not just Kevin, obviously he's in his wheelchair, but every single owner that walks through these doors and wants me to train their dog. The reason why I have everybody come to class is so I can teach you how to work with your dog. So when you're back home, you can do the same classes we do with your dog on your street, in your block, at your park, at wherever you gotta go. Because the only way the training works is you have to go work your dog. Now, I'm gonna put in the foundation for any dog we train. It's gonna happen, they're gonna know what to do. But you have to hold your dog accountable. You have to train them, you gotta work with them. That's how it works. And not only that, if you wanna build a bond with your dog, go work the commands they know. It will make you guys like this. What would I say if you had a disability and you were thinking about getting a dog? Maybe you don't want a service dog. Maybe you just want a dog like Kevin. He just wants a good dog to be his dog. And I don't blame him, I love dogs. So I could totally, I'd have 50 of them because I love them all. The one thing I could tell you is if you're debating on the process, call me first. Let's talk about getting you the right dog, okay? There's certain dogs out there that are just harder to deal with. They're more aggressive, they're more stubborn. You know, let's pick you the right dog. And also, there's so much that goes into having a dog. If you could just talk to me first, we could walk you through the process. I could come help you out with your puppy, talk about boundaries, stress, voice tones, all those things. I'll train your dog. We walk you into this amazing process. You show your dog nothing but love by teaching it boundaries, by teaching it voice tones. I'll put in the foundation, and then you can raise your dog exactly the way you want it.